as the inaugural whale exchange.
It is Thursday night, and you know what that means. It is time for more 136 No Limit Hold'em from the nicest card room in Houston. Hello, everybody. I am Wes Tucker, and I am joined today by the man, myth, and legend himself, stream regular Aviation. How you doing, my friend?
How's it going, Wes? Pleasure to be here on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure watching you these last few weeks. And we'll get to some of those stories in just a moment. But right now, we take a look at our lineup today. And we've got some deep stack 136 coming at you. As you can see right now, the short stack at the table is still over $1,500. So we get right to our first hand. Making his debut is Milo on the stream. And we've got some of your classic faces, including Troy. It's been a while since we've seen Troy underneath the bright lights here, but it's HV who will wake up with 10s to get things rolling from the small blind. He's going to 3-bet and make it 80.
And he's going to make sure that he gets every bit of value off of it. He's got everyone else at the table combined covered with a almost 7K buy-in for the initial.
Definitely so. As we go heads up, 10s against Ace Jack. And Jack in the window. I mean, HV with only one over to his pair of 10s may remain aggressive, but no, it does slow down a bit.
Usually expect to see this with pocket king. Always spike the ace on the flop.
And ATM gonna come back with 60. HV gonna speculate a bit here.
That's a pretty standard call. Jack's in his range, but there's a lot of king queens and ace X's that he could still possibly have. It's worth floating one more time.
The 4 of diamonds not going to help anybody. HV checking back over to ATM in the 2 seat, also making his TCH stream debut. Now, how often are you going to be double barreling on a board this texture with a airballed ace X combo? Realistically,
you're going to mix it in a little bit, but I mean, ace X is he more likely than not has a hand, and that's going to kill the action for HV. The flush gets there. I don't think ATM's all that concerned about it because he's blocking the nut flush. But honestly, at this point, what does ATM possibly have that you beat?
One pair. I got check.
That goes check, check. That's pretty standard, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely an action-killing card for both players. Neither of them wanted to see the king. Neither of them wanted to see a queen for that matter either. But we move right along. Again, they look at the lineup here. ATM, we saw him in the 2 seat. Siva will be in seat 5. Aiden back in seat 1. Ethan, who is on the devastation of the story we're going to reference in just a moment, as you're familiar with Aviation.
Absolutely.
DT will end up in seat 9, Milo in seat 8, Troy in 4, Dylan in 7, and HV will round out the ring in seat number 6. And we talk about just true and utter devastation a week ago, in which you and Ethan got into a hand. You with aces pre-flop, and no, Ethan with aces pre-flop, and you with pocket 7s, and the miracle flop, ace 7-7.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often, especially not on a live stream. It's one of those situations where you just have to hope that your opponent has a hand. And when you smash the flop, or just the board in general that heavily, it's really hard to get paid off because what could your opponent possibly have?
Right, exactly. Usually you can't do any betting because you have all the outs of everybody
Exactly.
at that point. But DT gonna wake up with jacks here. He'll 3-bet to 75. Looks like Milo, suited and connected, wants to stick around and see a flop. And, well, speaking of flopping quads, how about this here for DT? Goes check, check, and now the king on the turn. Again, no action gonna be got from Milo, to say the absolute least, with 2 red cards, and really that's about all you can really say at this point. He doesn't really have anything, even if there wasn't drawing dead to go after.
It's just turning into a pattern. I wonder who's going to flop quads next week.
You know, who knows? Who knows? I think that's actually the fifth time somebody's flopped quads on the stream. It actually happened on the very first live stream we ran here. And on the losing end of it, it was, I think the gentleman's name was Rod. And just absolutely brutal flop comes with 3 5s. He's got pocket kings.
Oh, boy.
And
it's hard to get away from.
It's hard to get away from, exactly, but ace 5 in the hand of the gentleman in seat 1, and that was it. The story's over.
Yeah, if that was a fairly passive pre-flop, you're never putting him on the pocket aces.
No, not once. So Aiden for Trey, line away, will stick in. And the flop comes deuce, Trey, 10, all hearts. So flopping a flush is Milo. As a perceived out to a flush, but not going to get any action out of him. I mean, with a pair and a flush draw like that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to stick around, even if the cards are so low. But I guess just some mad respect there for Milo in the 8th seed, again, making his live stream debut. But as we move along, we remind everybody that now the nicest card room in Houston is open 24 hours every Friday through Sunday. And just another stepping stone into making it a complete 24-hour club. But every Friday through Sunday, non-stop action. Be it Hold'em, PLO, mixed games. Do you play mixed games, Aviation?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've been in the mixed game community for the last couple of years. I've been a little bit inactive as of recently, but hoping to get back into it. It's very fun, and especially when they get the 4-8 mix or the 6-12 mix, it's very affordable for people who want to get in there and learn the game.
Oh, definitely so. I think the beauty of a 4-8 mix or a 6-12, you can sit down with the $200 and have that same $200 4 hours later if you're just learning.
Yes, absolutely. And another benefit for it, the people here at TCH, it's only a $6 an hour table charge, so it's a half table charge for the mixed game. So it's great. You can sit there for forever and just play, learn the games, and it's a lot more social and a lot more fun. Whereas the No Limit Hold'em and PLO games are a lot more going after each other and trying to take their money.
Yeah, definitely so. It is definitely more of a lax community. Sure, there's some intense ones, but I mean, what poker game isn't going to be intense at some point? Right. You know, we're throwing new games into those mixes all the time. I think since before I got to Houston, I considered myself a pretty good mixed game player, and then I started learning all these new ones that developed just when I was out of the community for maybe a year. I come back and there's like 7 or 8 games I don't recognize. I think one of them, Oma Jack.
Oh God.
A relatively new variant. Then there's Oma Bach as well. Badma Oma Jack. I mean, there's all kinds of new stuff that they're coming up with, and I absolutely love it.
Basically, somebody comes up with a game, and then everyone around them says, "No, that's stupid. That's the worst game I've ever heard of." And then you see it in the rotation within a week.
Oh yeah.
Why are grown-ups walking around with backpacks? Well, would you rather they have a purse or a fanny pack? I mean, you gotta get your spare gear going on.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you'll see me around the card room. I've always got my over-the-shoulder bag for sure. Mainly because, you know, I'm carrying a jacket with me. I've always got a backup hat with me. I mean, I guess that's the Boy Scout in me, always prepared. But that, and with the storms rolling in right now to Houston, I probably should have brought an umbrella or a rain jacket in there. The flop comes, all hearts, HV flopping the nuts. Milo airballing, and it only gets worse. Only gets worse.
As HV, I hate having that 4 card on the turn. That's going to absolutely kill the action.
I mean, the only way you could possibly get any action is if he was holding the Queen of Hearts at this point.
Yeah, I was at Aria back in December, and I flopped the nut flush, and then I turned the royal, and I was absolutely furious that I had hit the royal on the turn because it put a 4th spade on, and I knew I wasn't going to get paid off. What's worse, the 5th spade ended up coming on the river, and by some miracle, I ended up getting paid off by the 9 of spades.
Oh, wow.
For about 60 more bucks.
Utter field piece there, too.
Absolutely.
And, of course, Smudge in the chat, reporting live. How you doing out there, my friend? Good to see you back in the chat. Hoping to see you back on the felt, too, my friend. For those who don't know, Smudge, a usual fixture in our 1-2 No Limit live streams, has played on the Thursday night stream before. Looking forward to getting him back there. And here we go. Here's something to talk about. Y'all are sleeping on Aiden. He is a moneymaker. And having dealt to Aiden, having played with Aiden, having watched over the table as a floor manager with Aiden at the table, I've got to say, he's 100% right. This kid he's sneaky, is the way I like to say it.
There's not a lot of weak points at the table right here. HB is definitely going to be one of the strongest ones, and one of the money takers or money makers, whichever way you want to do it. Ethan is one of the dark horses. People, because of his youth, will kind of underestimate him, but he is absolutely one of the best players at the table, despite him getting whacked in the stream last week. Twice to me, as a matter of fact, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this coming from the player who says he never runs good when the cameras are rolling. By the way.
Yeah, so Variance caught up with the last couple of weeks. I had a pair of 3K wins, so that was pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely so.
Milo flopping a set on this one. That's always nice. But it seems that so far on this live stream, one person's flopped the world and the other person's gotten absolutely nothing. So those of you guys looking for blood, there's really none to be had so far. One person smashes the flop, the other person gets nothing, and it's been bet fold most of the time.
That's all that matters.
Sooner or later, we'll get something out, I'm sure, as a club completes a perceived flush. Both players with block. Milo, of course, with trays full of 9s. DT slowing down and allowing Milo to try to go for value. Won't get any more, however. Again, DT, we talk about it week after week. One of the more solid, more balanced players that we see on the show. I think the big comments we were getting recently were about the color of his hair. I mean, he comes in one day looking like the Joker, and you expect us not to mention it? I mean...
I just want to see an ace.
It's always the elephant in the room. You gotta bring that up.
Yeah, we did hear some rumors about the Nick game, or possibly some 7-deuce game going on a little later. We will confirm those rumors as we can. But of course, to all those out there, thanks for spending your Thursday night with us here at TCH Houston. And Wes Tucker and Aviation keeping you company throughout tonight's frivolities. I want to big welcome everybody who is joining us from watching their usual programming in Austin, as due to some power problems, they will be spending the evening with us instead.
And unfortunately for us in the Houston area, that storm that's whooping Austin right now is coming for us later tonight. So hopefully everyone will get home safe or hang out here and ride out the storm playing some cards.
Yeah, definitely. So if you do have to drive tonight, please do be careful wherever you are headed. And that being said, let's go 3 ways to our flop here. It is a jack-high board with 2 spades. Aiden flopping a flush draw. And take a look there. A pair of 4s for Siva puts him out in front. Not by too much, though, statistically. But Aiden will bet at it. Siva also making his TCH Houston live stream debut. It's good to have just a balance of new faces to go along with some of the tried and true characters we have. The turn brings the flush for Aiden. Drawing dead is Siva. And we'll see if he tries to stab at it here from under the gun. Again, ace queen easily representable, but of course with a flush going nowhere would be Aiden.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to wave the white flag on this one. I don't really blame him the way this has been played. Just see what happens. And
Yeah,
5
quick
high,
bet, quick
well,
fold.
pair of 4s is
Yeah.
not exactly the hill you want to die on here,
If I don't
especially.
get 9-5 offsuit, I can play hands.
There's a lot of draws that may hit a queen there.
And of course, coming up, we got more Tournament Madness here at Texas Card House Houston, Memorial Madness Weekend. We got 2 new tournaments for you, the first of which being a multi-flight 100K guarantee for a $300 buy-in. That is going to kick off when? Next week. Oh my goodness, we're almost there. And of course, the 50K guaranteed one-day tournament, also a $300 buy-in. That one will take place on the 27th. In 2 massive tournaments, 1 amazing weekend. More info at texascardhouse.com/Houston. So we know you're a big cash player, but tell us about your tournament experiences.
I used to play tournaments all the time when I was a little earlier in my poker career. Now, not so much. I'll play the WSOP every once in a while, but I really kind of stick to cash games. I like it more. I like the ability to leave when I feel I don't have an edge, or I feel myself getting tilted or worked up. Whereas if you're in a tournament, you can just be sitting there, just basically stuck for 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah, tournaments definitely are a testament to patience.
Yeah.
We take a look here. Flush draw for ATM. Ethan with a pair of 4s. And Queen 10, he's looking for a jack to complete Broadway. And he's got to stick around, see if he can float one on the turn here.
In fact, last year during the World Series of Poker, it was so long since I last played a tournament. When I raked in my first pot, I tried to tip the dealer one of the $100 chips and stopped myself at the last second.
When most tournament dealers would look at you like you had lobsters crawling out of your ear. It's not a situation like that.
Got him.
Oh boy. You know the storm's getting bad outside when you get the emergency alert from National Weather Service, expecting 80-mile-an-hour winds out there.
That's a little gusty.
Yeah, I'll say. Again, please, if you must drive out there in the South Texas area, please be careful tonight and get where you're going as fast as possible. As we check in with our player V pips right now through our first 12 hands, Dylan and Troy at 10% on the short end of the stick. ATM has seen the most action along with Milo at the table so far. So lots of action to go. Again, we are just at the tip of the iceberg of what is sure to be a fantastic show this evening. And speak of the devil, Milo, with a relatively good hand under the gun. You see, maybe I'm just not as good a cash player as I like to think I am, but ace-10 under the gun, that doesn't really seem like something I'd be opening with from early position in cash. But again, most of my studying comes from tournaments. So I understand my thought process on it. But like you said, it's a different animal, cash.
Yeah, I mean, with the ability to rebuy, you can certainly be a little bit looser, and it's definitely something that if you're going to play, you're going to come in for a raise. You don't want to play that kind of passively and let everyone else in, because what flop are you realistically looking at that you're really happy with ace-10?
Well, here he does pick up a flush draw on the turn. Again, that was definitely one of those flops you're talking about, just airballing with it on a queen-high board. But Aiden's going to make him pay if he wants to try and draw that club. He did flop a pair of 5s. Decent kicker, but Milo's not going to chase any longer.
Yeah, under the gun and unsuited, that's maybe a borderline fold there. But I think raising with it is perfectly fine. Got to mix that in a little bit for balance. I think the only incorrect play for that would be to limp, especially under the gun, since it's a 3-blind game in this case.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, you were playing with us when it was still just a 1-3 no limit. So tell me about the difference you've seen in action since this became a normal 1-3-6 game.
I've never played the 1-3 live stream. I've done the 1-2 live stream.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I like having the third blind. I think this is going to be a lot more action-packed since we made this a 2-5 game. Even though 2-5, you've got 7 in there, and the big blind size is more, and you might have bigger pots and everything. The fact that there's 3 people being forced to put money into the pot is just naturally going to make it a little bit looser and a little bit splashy.
Yeah, I do think the Catman said it the best. More people with more money in the pot equals more interest in the pot in general. Pretty simple formula. I think we're going to stick to it.
Let me know if I...
Not to mention in Texas, if you're in for $1, you're in for 200.
Oh, easy. Absolutely. I mean, even today I was dealing a 1-2 game. Everybody limps for $2. Big blind makes it 40, and get day callers. So that's just your standard 1-2 game here in Texas. So we do have ourselves a dealer change. We say good night to Mike and welcome Miss Bobby into the box. She will take over. And 1-3-6 is the game. And for those just joining us, thanks for tuning in to TCH Live. If you were joining us expecting to see some action from Austin, we apologize, but welcome to the TCH Houston broadcast.
I hope everyone knows how to do
And if you lose a
it.
nickname, what's the nickname? Now.
Yes, now.
$100? Got it. And then if you lose
When are we doing
So DT, 5 tray. You can see now the knit buttons have been passed out. They are the little red buttons in front of each player. How the knit game works is simple. You win a hand and show the hand, you get to release your knit button. If you forget to show the hand, you're unfortunately going to have to hold on to said knit button. And the last person who is holding their knit button will be paying a predetermined tax to everybody else at the table. And knowing this crew, I think they are going to be settling along the lines of a $15 to $20 range of a tax, but we'll get some information on that as it becomes available.
Typically 5 big blinds, so that sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, also what we've seen, though, on the Thursday show is instead of actually paying a tax, they've also had the last person standing splash the pot for that same amount, which personally I think is a much better way to do it because it gives the person a chance to win their money back, even though they proved themselves the biggest nit at the table for the last few hours.
I'm actually the opposite opinion. I actually like getting paid for it once you release the knit button because even if you end up not having to pay the tax, odds are you're probably not going to get anything from this. So I actually like just getting